Ladies and gentlemen, can I welcome you to tonight's meeting of East Renfrewshire Council. Can I remind you that the council meeting will be streamed live and it will be available later for viewing in the council's archive. Before we start the meeting formally, I would like your approval to brief the council on the impact of recent events in Manchester. Do I have that approval? As you may be aware, at 21:40 hours on Tuesday the 23rd of May, the Prime Minister, Theresa May, announced that on advice, the threat level from international terrorism was raised from severe, which means an attack is highly likely, to critical, which means that attack is expected immediately. Along with the raise in threat level to critical, the UK Government have implemented a mobilisation plan for military support where required. It should be made clear that there is no specific intelligence to suggest that Scotland is a target. However, the terror threat level is UK-wide. I would like to reassure elected members and the public that the Council is doing all it can to ensure the continued safety and security of its staff and the residents of East Renfrewshire. The Council has in place robust arrangements to deal with all kinds of civil contingencies, related incidents, including terrorism. The Council's Resilience Management team met earlier this afternoon and has implemented a range of actions to support public safety and security of our buildings, including sharing public messages for the purpose of reassurance. The Council will continue to follow the lead of the Government and Police Scotland. However, tonight my thoughts and those of everyone here at East Renfrewshire Council will be with those who've lost loved ones or who were injured in the attack in Manchester on the 22nd of May. I would ask councillors for their agreement for the new Provost to send a letter of condolence to the people of Manchester. Is that in order? In the letter, I think we should remember the officers of the council areas in and around Manchester who are presently supporting those affected by the attack and are aiming to get the infrastructure of the city back to normal. Their work is often behind the scenes, but the personal impact of dealing with such a tragedy on these officers will be immense. Can I now ask everyone to join me in a minute's silence to pay respects to the people who have lost their lives or were injured in the terrorist attack on Manchester on Monday. Thanks very much. If I can move to the agenda. First item in the agenda is my report as returning officer on the results of the election. This report is for noting. I ask everyone to note the paper. Item 2. I can confirm that I have received declarations of acceptance of office from all 18 councillors. If I can move to item 3 on the agenda, we have had no apologies for this evening's meeting intermediaries. Item 4, declarations of interest. Can I remind you that the Code of Conduct, which you've all been issued with, requires councillors to declare an interest in any items in the agenda. Can I confirm there are no declarations of interest this evening? No declarations. Thank you very much. Sorry, Councillor Smith?
I'm just saying it's quite interesting though.
Okay. Item 5. Can I move to election of the Provost? Can I call for nominations for Provost? Councillor Kay?
Can I move Councillor Jim Fletcher?
Is there a seconder?
Happy to second Councillor Fletcher for Provost.
Thank you, Councillor Cannon. Councillor Miller?
Can I propose Councillor Barbara Grant for Provost?
Is there a seconder?
Could I second Barbara Grant for Provost?
Councillor Smith. Are there any other nominations? Okay, if we can move to the vote.
Thank you. The proposal in terms of the appointment of the Provost is moved by Councillor Kane and seconded by Councillor Buchanan that Councillor Fletcher be appointed as Provost. The counter proposal moved by Councillor Miller and seconded by Councillor Swift is that Councillor Grant be appointed Provost. Those for Councillor Fletcher, if you could please show. And those for Councillor Grant, if you could please show. The result of the vote is 10 for Councillor Fletcher and 8 for Councillor Grant. Councillor Fletcher has been elected Provost.
Forgetting I don't need to stand nowadays, that's much better. Well, first of all, can I just say thank you very much for electing me as Provost here this evening. Deeply honoured, and genuinely deeply honoured, and I'm very conscious I've got a hard act to follow. See my predecessor in the gallery, former Provost Alistair, good friend and delighted to see you back. Former Provost Alan Steele, again a good friend of mine, and both wonderful Provosts, and the formidable Betty Cunningham still there as a councillor, a former Provost as well. So it's a huge act to follow, and I will do my level best to live up to what's gone before. I'm not sure my Matt Allen designer suit actually takes his change, but I'll see how that goes in the future as well. As I say, I would probably just want to take a couple of minutes and both for thanking you for my election today, but perhaps just setting out an opportunity to maybe take the council forward, I hope, in a very positive fashion. I know in our last administration we ran the school debates, and Alistair spent a lot of time doing it, and it was kicked off originally by Alan Steele when he was the Provost. They're very important, and when you go around parent councils, as I'm sure you all will, you will be astonished at how often parents say to you, haven't a clue who you are, or you're the person that did the school debate and whatever, and you get exposure. It's good for yourselves as councillors, but more importantly, it's absolutely wonderful, I think, for the young people to come into the chamber and take part in the debate. And it's not about us speaking, it's about allowing the young people to actually participate. So I hope, I intend to keep those going, and I hope as many councillors as possible will come along and help and participate, particularly with schools in their own wards. I would also like to say, I think it's just an opportunity to say that my style as a councillor, and those of you who've sat through budget strategy groups with me, probably going far too long, but I'm not the type of person that necessarily wants to curtail debate. I think this is the chamber where we should have a debate in East Renfrewshire Council, and we will spend as long as you wish as councillors having that political debate. I just would ask that we are respectful of one another. We can have a robust debate without being offensive or in any way disrespecting one another, and I hope we can take that forward in a positive fashion. And I would ask councillors as well, as you know, there are websites out there and blogs and such like who seem to spend their time attacking the council and attacking officers of the council. I would hope that when we have that robust political debate, and it's quite proper that we do that we don't attack East Renfrewshire Council as an entity, and in particular we don't attack any of the officers who work in it. We have people here who do a great job, work very hard, and they're not able to defend themselves. And some of the stuff that's appeared in social media about some of our council officers, some of them very junior, in the last few years is just absolutely appalling. So I think we have an opportunity to move forward in a very collegiate fashion, and I hope this administration can be a robust forum for political debate, but one where we respect each other. So with that, a few remarks, we'll move on. Thank you. Thank you. I suddenly realise that the chair a meeting now, which is okay. The next one is the election of Deputy Provost. Do I have a nomination for Deputy Provost, Councillor O'Kane?
Can I move Councillor Betty Cunningham?
Is there a seconder for that?
Happy to second for Councillor Betty Cunningham.
Thank you, Councillor Buchanan. Councillor Miller?
Can I propose Councillor Johnny Gilbert?
Okay, thank you. Councillor Swift? Okay. Thank you. Could we move then to the vote? All those in favour of Councillor Cunningham as Deputy Provost, please show. And all those in favour of Councillor Gilbert as Deputy Provost, please show. Okay, the vote is 10 votes for Councillor Cunningham and 8 votes for Councillor Gilbert, but he did eventually vote for himself. He's very, what's the word, gentlemanly. I did wonder whether I should vote for myself, but you probably did the right thing there, Charlie. To elect Councillor Cunningham and our appointment as Deputy Provost. Okay, can we move on then to item number 7, which is a paper in front of you, which is amendments to the scheme of administration and the convener's remits. Obviously a change from the last time, and reflecting the fact that thanks to our boundary commission, I won't say colleagues, we have a smaller council this time. So could I ask Councillor Buchanan to, sorry, I beg your pardon, speak to Councillor Buchanan or Councillor O'Kane? Can we just note it? Just to note it? Okay. Can I just move the proposals then? You're happy with it? Right, any proposal to Councillor Swift?
Thank you very much, Provost. May I congratulate you on your new role within the council, and I hope you enjoy your time as Provost.
Thank you very much.
The question I would like to ask is, given that we have had a cut from 20 down to 18, the cuts in the number of elected members in the Cabinet and the number of conveners is significantly reduced, and reduced to an extent that is significantly more than would be reflected in the numeric cut in the number of councillors. Can I ask why that might be?
Well, okay, yeah, I'll pass to Councillor Buchanan. I've got to remember I'm Provost and chairing the debate.
Yeah, happy to respond to that. Obviously, the papers looked at, we have a reduction in our overall number of councillors. Looking at it on a proportional basis, I certainly felt, following discussions, that it was worth reducing the size of the Cabinet. I think all of the individuals within the Cabinet will be adequately able to deal with the remits that follow on from that. But I think it shows that as a council, yes, we have reduced in size, but equally a lot of work has to be done. But I'm sure that the respective members of the Cabinet, when they are elected, will be enabled to do that.
Councillor Wallace.
Thank you, Provost. I appreciate numeracy isn't what it was under the SNP. However, from what I can understand, we are 10% down in the number of councillors, and yet we're proposing 25% decrease in the number of people in the Cabinet. I've got a significant problem with that, because we're actually talking about the power of running this organisation here being dramatically reduced and actually going into the hands of a much smaller number of people. I mean, we have, for example, here our convener for infrastructure and sustainable growth. That's one that's to go, and yet here we are on the verge of one of the biggest projects under the name of the City Deal. And why we should want to reduce the number of people that are going to be responsible for something like that and actually get rid of the convener of infrastructure and sustainable growth, I think is a backward step. The other thing I'd like to mention is about the Education Committee. We talk about well over 50% of our budget being involved in education, and we're actually talking about reducing the number of people that are going to be sitting on the Education Committee as well. Again, I think that's a backward move, and I don't think it's something that's going to get the confidence of the people that are out there. Just my view, just my opinion, but saying it nevertheless. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Wallace. Does anybody want to comment before we move the proposal? Councillor Lapp.
Thank you, Provost. Just a quick comment. After, of course, congratulating you in your election as Provost, well done, sir. It's just one of the concerns I had with the retrogressive step was reducing the council from 20 members to 18, when in fact what we should have had with our population growth is an increase in the number of elected members, because the work of the council does not just fall on the Cabinet. We do have a number of committees that require members to sit on to make decisions regarding planning applications, licensing applications, to indeed scrutinise the Cabinet. And you can't do that if everybody in administration, or nearly all of them, are on the Cabinet. We have to have people free to join with the opposition in the regulatory and scrutiny committees of the council.
Good point. Any other comment, Councillor Grant?
Yes, I'm a bit concerned about the business of finance, and that did come under the convener of corporate services. And I noticed from the papers that we've got that the leader is going to be dealing with that. I feel that because we don't have a director of finance and we don't actually have any cabinet person involved in finance, that is not a good way forward. And I'm very concerned about it. So I really want to make sure that finance is something that's going to be properly dealt with. And if the leader that's proposed has got all the jobs to do that he has got to do, I'm very worried about how our financial affairs are going to be looked after. And I would like to put that marker down right now.
Thank you for the comments, but I would remind you, though, in certainly my term as leader, not in the last 5 years, but the administration before, it was a remit that did fall under the leader's auspices. So, I mean, it's not a new idea, it's reverting to what we did before.
Thank you, Provost, and again, congratulations on your election to that role. I think just for clarity on that point, the Cabinet does fluctuate. In the 2007 through to 2012 administration, it was lower than it was in the previous administration. As you've alluded to, Provost, the finance and property and technical services, for example, were in the remit of the leader. Sustainable growth and regeneration were fairly new additions in the 2007 Cabinet. With the advent, actually, of City Deal that Councillor Wallace references, much of that business is transacted by the City Deal Cabinet that sits across all of the authorities who are involved, and therefore would be in the remit of the leader and the deputy leader. And I think also with the changes in the heads of service remits within environment that we agreed in the last council, it is about trying to streamline who they report to as a convener as well. So I think what we've done is we have scaled down the Cabinet, but we've done it in a very sensible fashion to ensure that we're not losing anything. And I think, as Councillor Lasky alludes to, it's all of our jobs to ensure the audit and scrutiny of the council. And of course there are all the mechanisms that's still in place around call-ins
and around reviewing any decision that's taken by Cabinet. So I think it is absolutely right that we do this. Sorry, I don't think I'm excuse me. I didn't actually get any answer as to why, if the number of councillors is cut by 10% and yet we're making a 25% cut to elected members in Cabinet and a 25% cut to elected members on Education Committee, can anybody answer that as to why such a huge cut to Cabinet and Education? Provost, if I may, East Renfrewshire was the first council in Scotland to institute the Cabinet system to move away from standing committees in 1999. And from 1999 until 2007, we operated with a Cabinet of 5 members. And I don't recall anybody complaining about the burden on the conveners at that time. We handled the job, as I recall.
Could I maybe ask that somebody moves the proposal then, and if there's obviously an opposition amendment, we'll take that as well and have a vote on it. Does anybody wish to move the changes? Councillor Buchanan.
Thank you, Provost. Yeah, I'm happy to move the changes. I think the changes we've all looked across the board. We have a smaller council, not by our wish, but imposed upon us, but nonetheless we have to work within that. The point has been made that as a Cabinet we have to administer it, we have to ensure there's adequate individuals and numbers of people to sit in all the other committees that are responsible, and ultimately at the end of the day it's this council as a whole that is overly responsible for delivering those services. I'm quite certain that the proposals will work. I think they show that they've looked at the issues that we face, and we certainly feel that this is the best way to manage those issues and to move the council forward. So I'm happy to propose the paper.
Councillor Buchanan, do you have a seconder for that? Councillor O'Kane?
Happy to formally second, Provost.
Yeah. Do we have an amendment to that proposal? Seconder, Councillor Wallace?
I second that.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Aiken? Appointments. The first one is your papers 8. Number 1 is the appointment of leader of the council. Can I have a nomination for leader of the council? Councillor Merrick.
I'd like to nominate Councillor Buchanan as leader of the council.
Councillor Merrick. Do we have a seconder for that?
I'd second, Provost.
Do we have Councillor Aiken?
I'd like to nominate Councillor Stuart Miller for leader.
Do we have a seconder, Councillor Aiken?
I'd like to second that, Councillor Miller.
Thank you, Councillor McLean. Sorry, fingers getting sore, switching on and off here. And those in favour of Councillor Miller, please show. 10-8.
Surely not.
No, just proving that the officers can count and keeps them busy as well. Okay, thank you very much. And can I congratulate Councillor Buchanan and invite him to come to the front of the... Well done, Councillor Buchanan. I did wonder all these coalition meetings we had in my room if you were eyeing up that room, but now I think I know. But well done. Can I have a nomination now for the deputy leader of the council? Councillor Cunningham.
I'd like to propose Councillor Paula Kane.
Are you a seconder for that, Councillor Cunningham?
Happy to second.
Councillor Buchanan seconding. Is there any amendment? Councillor.
I'd like to propose Councillor Gordon-Wallace.
And a seconder, Councillor First.
Absolutely, yes, please.
Move to the vote. Those in favour of Councillor O'Kane as Deputy Leader of the Council, please show. Wallace. And it's 10-8 again. Okay.
No.
Yeah, well, it's politics. Item 8.3, which is now the appointment of conveners of the council. Now, yeah, I'll just invite Councillor Buchanan to come in because I think we might want to just do a slate rather than just do 1v1. But Councillor Buchanan.
Thank you, Provost. Yeah, happy to. But in the positions of conveners, I'm happy to nominate. We do have a full slate through all of the committees. I think that has been issued. Are we just doing the? Yeah. We have a proposal which covers the numerous committees, and I think they have to be circulated. There's more to come. That's 8. Okay, thank you, colleagues. I think everyone should have a list. For information, what I will do first of all is go through the initial members or conveners and cabinet members. I would wish to nominate Councillor O'Kane for the post of Convener of Education and Equalities, Councillor Bamford for the position of Social Work and Health Convener, Councillor Lafferty as Environment Convener, Councillor Merrick as Community Services and Community Safety Convener, and Councillor Devlin for Housing and Maintenance Services.
Do we have a seconder for that proposal? Councillor O'Kane.
Firmly seconded, Provost.
Thank you very much. Councillor Grant.
There's a couple of names in there of new councillors who haven't been in the council before. I'd like to know what their qualifications are to be members of the cabinet with those exalted positions. So could we have a resume of
I
their
don't think that's quite.
abilities to do the job?
I think that's quite. I don't really think that's appropriate. You know, they are validly nominated for the posts, and you're free to either support them or not support them as you see fit. But I don't think it's appropriate to have people justify the nomination.
I'm sorry, Provost, but I'm sure the people out there who are watching what's going on in here and have voted for a Conservative administration would like to know that we are in our position to ask what are these people doing as conveners of a big brief if they have the qualifications to do that. I'm sure everybody would like to know that.
Well, they're democratically elected. There is an administration in place, and those are the conveners that are duly nominated to the posts. And this is what we're now deciding. There will be a vote on those individuals in the post. So if you have concerns about any of the individuals, you're free to vote against them. Councillor Devlin.
I'm sorry, it's extremely appropriate. We do not know whether these people have the capabilities of being a chair of or a convener of a large brief. And I would like to know what their capabilities are.
Well, they're democratically elected, they're nominated for the post, and we've been asked here to approve them. So if you have an alternative nomination for the posts, then now is your opportunity to nominate somebody else for the post if you have concerns. And I'll open it for nominations, for any alternative nominations for any of those posts, if there's an amendment from the opposition.
Can I put up an amendment to education, put Councillor Wallace in there, convener for social work and health, Swift, environment McLean, community services and safety, Barbara Grant, and housing, Councillor Aiken.
Got those names?
Could you just clarify education and equality, Councillor Wallace? For environment, Councillor Miller?
Okay. Yeah, we require a seconder for that.
Okay, I'll have a second.
Okay, thank you. Okay, can I now move to the vote? Those in favour of the conveners as outlined by Councillor Buchanan, please show. And those in favour of the alternative slate as proposed by Councillor Miller. And the vote is 10-8. Surprised to note. Okay. Right. Let's not rerun the election campaign. We are where we are, and we have an administration now in place. Can I move on then to the appointment of committees, which I think again has been circulated to everyone here. Do you want to speak to that, Councillor Buchanan?
Thanks, Provost. Yes, everyone should have a list of all of the committees that we are looking to proceed with, and for the positions and the names that are in those committees. I would ask that you adopt that list. I'm not aware of an alternative. I think there is one change. Councillor Miller, do you wish to?
Just the only change is to the Cabinet Fire and Police. I put in Gilbert Rashubi Grant.
With that amendment, I would propose that this list be adopted and that the members take their places on the committees registered. That's still at 7, yeah. That's still 7.
Okay, can we just confirm the planning composition, there's a wee bit of confusion around it.
If I can come in there, Provost, obviously the change hasn't been mooted, it had been agreed, but I'm sure Councillor Miller can advise us of his colleagues that he would be placing on the planning committee.
Miller McLean Aiken. Thank you.
If I could just clarify, the list that has been issued has 6 positions on it. My understanding is there's a desire for that to go to 7. And therefore it will be the names listed plus the 3 Conservative councillors that Councillor Miller's just listed.
Okay with the 7 councillors for planning, would they know who they are? Okay, can we...
Sorry, Rob, can I just ask a question? See the 7 cabinet members, they didn't have 7 planning, is it?
Yeah, credentials I think I've given me the electorate in this place. Okay. Right, can we accept that committee structure? Everybody happy with it? No amendment, I take it? Okay. Right, thank you very much. Moving on then, I think we've done all of them for the appointments, so we move on then to item number 9, which is the other appointments to various subcommittees and outside bodies and such like. So do we have a list of those? So you've seen those. Is everybody content with those appointments? Item number 9. No amendment? Okay with them? Right, can I move acceptance of that list? Thank you. And moving on to item number 10, which is the nomination to the NHS Greater Glasgow and Clyde Board and membership of the Integration Joint Board and Social Work Complaints Committee, which again has been circulated. Yeah.
Yes, I would like to propose Councillor Bamford.
Okay. Do you want me to go through them? No. Councillors Bamford, who will be the nomination to the Health Board, Buchanan, O'Kane and Swift. Okay, can I approve that? Thank you. Okay, thank you very much for your contributions here this evening. You'll be pleased to know that we're finished and you can go back for Emmerdale or the Cup final, which is on, more important. But can also remind councillors there is a team photo, I don't know if that's the right word, but a photograph of all the councillors plus an individual photograph, so please don't disappear until we've had those photographs taken. It costs a lot of money to hire photographers nowadays. Okay. And it is in the marriage room through there. Those of you who've maybe been there at some point, it's in the marriage room. Thank you.